advocate who has an incredible personal story, who gave up hours and hours, days of her time to go intercept every single candidate running for president in New Hampshire, some of them multiple times. And a lot of times she would go to an event and not get a question in, but you know what? She went back the next day, and the next day, and the next day. There was a lot of activity that was happening around this, this advocate. But all through it, she stood her ground, she went to these events, and she pressed these candidates on what they were going to do about Alzheimer's disease. Now, we've done a little clip, sort of a mashup about this advocate. It does not do it justice, the work that she did, but I'd like to roll that clip now, if you would. Thanks.
The first hand I saw was this young woman right there.
Just shout. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Brenda Bouchard. I live in Madbury.
I've been a caregiver for nearly 10 years. My husband has younger onset Alzheimer's disease.
My mother's almost 89, lives with me. She has Alzheimer's disease too.
I'm one of 65,000 Alzheimer's caregivers here in the state of New Hampshire.
Alzheimer's research receives $586 million from the NIH, while Medicare and Medicaid spend $153 billion caring for people with Alzheimer's. So my question to you is, what will you do in your presidential campaign and beyond to ensure that this devastating disease and the potential bankruptcy to Medicare and Medicaid will get the attention it needs?
Look, in 1 minute you summarized it pretty well. Sounds like
I believe we should dramatically increase the investment in funds and research and development to seek to find a cure.
And as a nation, we should be investing in research and development.
So total on top of everything. We have so many.
And the heavens support what we are going to do on behalf of Alzheimer's and the patients, the families, and the caregivers.
Thank you.
Now, first, let me thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you very much for that question.
Thank you, Brenda Bouchard. Brenda was an incredible advocate through all of this. And Brenda definitely made an impact. In fact, Brenda Bouchard asked Secretary Clinton her very first question at her very first town hall in Dover, New Hampshire. And it was a question about Alzheimer's disease. And that had a huge impact on Hillary Clinton throughout the entire campaign, and still does. She talked about Brenda. She talked about Brenda's story everywhere she went. Ultimately, Brenda endorsed Secretary Clinton, introduced her a few months later at the end of 2015 in New Hampshire. We reached out to the Clinton campaign, told them that we were going to honor Brenda here, and they were great enough to do a video for us. If we could roll that video, please.
Hello, everyone. You know so well that Alzheimer's disease is an issue that is very important to me and to all of you. And I've been so grateful for all of your ideas and your activism going back to my work in the Senate as co-chair of the Congressional Task Force on Alzheimer's. I'm encouraged to see this disease take its rightful place in the national spotlight. And I'm excited by the extraordinary advances in research. And I'm certainly inspired by your commitment to fight for families that are dealing with Alzheimer's. One great example of that commitment is Brenda Bouchard. I met Brenda in Dover, New Hampshire. Her husband has Alzheimer's, her mother has Alzheimer's. She's taking care of both of them. And if that weren't enough, she's also working hard to raise awareness. She's challenging presidential candidates to make her fight our fight. I've been proud to have Brenda by my side as I've traveled to talk about my plan to treat, prevent, and make a cure possible for Alzheimer's by 2025. That means making Alzheimer's a national priority, ramping up our investments in disease research to $2 billion annually. And it means doing much, much more to support caregivers like Brenda. I've never been more hopeful or more grateful for the work you do every day. Together we can provide hope for the millions of Americans with Alzheimer's and the millions of people caring for them. One day, I am sure, we will conquer this disease once and for all. I look forward to continuing to work with you for that day to become a reality. Thank you all very much.
I'd ask Carrie to come back up and please help me welcome the 2016 Advocate of the Year for AIM, Brenda Bouchard.
For words, but I am right now, and I'll try to get through this. This is a very, very humbling experience, as you can imagine, but of course, it's a great, great honor. I want to say thank you to AIM very, very much. Your work is moving Alzheimer's forward, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Alzheimer's takes a village. I've been very fortunate to have an incredible village by my side. I'd like to thank John Funderburk, Heather Carroll, Marissa Chase, the Massachusetts New Hampshire chapter of the Alzheimer's Association, Jim Wessler, Rhonda Randazzo, and Maura Moxley for their support in encouraging me, mentoring me, and educating me around Alzheimer's disease. Thank you very much. My sister Sally is here with me today. She recently reminded me throughout this past year that I regularly said to her, I'm not a public speaker, I can't do advocacy work, I don't have the skill set in my wheelhouse, and what can one regular, ordinary, everyday person do anyway? She has not only stood by my side as we navigate the rough waters of my mother's care and my husband's care, but she has stood by my side, encouraging me and cheering me on each and every time I walked out the door to attend a presidential town hall meeting. So thank you to my big sister for being there for me always. Brianna was just 13 years old when Alzheimer's changed our family forever. Alzheimer's has been a part of her life through her high school years, her college years, and into her 20-somethings. I understand what it's like to have a parent with Alzheimer's disease. However, I was not 13 years old when my mother's symptoms began. Brianna and I have had a lot of ups and downs as in our front row seats watching her dad and her grandmother decline, and it has not been easy. I am grateful to my daughter for her support and for walking lockstep with me each and every day in this journey. And I would of course like to thank my mother Cecile and my husband Ken. They are my inspiration and my motivation. My husband was always the first one to speak out over an injustice, always. I know he would be so proud. The motivation to speak has come very easily to me. The human pain and suffering is nothing short of monumental, and it's agonizing to watch. The financial burden to families and to our country is an injustice in and of itself. I will always speak out. Our loved ones will never be forgotten. So, it's very inspiring to be here, to say the least. And as I thought about attending this forum, a word kept popping into my mind, and that word is courage. It takes courage to be diagnosed with this disease and get up and live with it each and every day. It takes courage to accept the realities of this disease. It takes courage to get out of bed each and every day, not knowing what lays ahead in your day, but knowing you have more to do than can possibly be done. It takes courage to realize your mother has washed her face with toothpaste because she thought it was soap. It takes courage to see your husband cared for as an infant, regardless of the amount of dignity involved in the care. It takes courage for a 13-year-old to watch this ruthless disease devastate your dad and your grandmother. And it takes courage to trek across the wild, wild west that is Alzheimer's disease today. It takes courage for all of us to pack our bags and come from all corners of our country to Washington, D.C. to advocate for this devastating disease, knowing that our 16-year-old selves never could have imagined this in our future. We all have that courage. So what helps support and strengthen that courage? Well, I believe it's our village, and I'm very proud and honored to be one of our villagers. So Alzheimer's is seeping into our national consciousness more than ever. We have lots more work to do to continue the progress, but we can collectively do this. So for every single person who has had or is living with Alzheimer's disease today, their caregivers, loved ones, and families, I say let's take our village and with our courage to Capitol Hill tomorrow and give our voices to those who can't speak, and let's speak up and let's speak out and let's do this. I thank you very, very much for this great honor, and I share it with every one of you here today.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Chief Public Policy